Hello everyone and welcome back to me! How are we all doing today, guys? Right, so, as you probably tell from the thumbnail, from the title, from everything going on, the deck that I'm going to be taking into the next format, because I have a feeling, I don't know this for sure, I don't want anyone to take this as any kind of confirmation, because I do not know for sure. I have a feeling that the Justice Hunters decks are going to be fairly massacred in the next list. The next Forbidden Limited list. I don't know that for sure. I don't want them to be, quite frankly. I think there are certain things that do need to happen. I think that the ubiquity of Yummy's splashability needs to be hit, so I think something like Hornet Drones could go, and I think Ripper needs to go. So I think Kanon needs to go, unfortunately. But I think that Yummy and Dragtail are fine. However, I think they'll be taken out back in the next list, quite frankly. So, what I have over here is the list I'm taking into the next format, which will be Fairy Tail Magistus. I'm not playing it Nats because I'm commentating Nats, so I'm not playing it Nats. But I will be taking this list to the I say this list. This is my first iteration on the list, and it's worth noting that we are likely going to have some cards coming out in the near future that will be changing this list, not least of which in the next Forbidden Limited list. Pretty much everyone I have spoken to has said that they think that Snow is coming off the list. So that will change the list. I might just put it in as the 41st card, because I do like this list as is, quite frankly. But yeah, that will go into the list somewhere. That will get into the list somewhere. Snow will make its way in. Also, I am personally unsure of the ruling on the card Genie of the Ring, which we'll get to in a bit. But at the moment, this is my first iteration, and obviously we don't have the Endymion stuff yet, worth noting as well. The Endymion stuff is very good for this list. People seem to use the Endymion stuff a lot in the OCG. We don't have that yet. I think it's coming out in Battles to Legend Glorious Gallery next month. I don't know that for sure. I don't think anyone knows that for sure, because that's not been announced properly yet. But I think it is. So, this is the list that I'm going to be playing, at the very least, at locals and OTSs between now and when it gets updated. But yeah, so this is the list I'm going with at the moment. So it is 3 copies of Fairy Tail Luna. This is your best Fairy Tail starter in the deck. When it's normal summon, you can add a monster with 1850 attack from deck to hand, and then also a quick effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls. Your opponent can then choose to send a monster with the same name as that target from their deck to the graveyard to negate this effect. If not, send both that card and this back to the hand. The reason that's good, so that's good, if, because you can get rid of like the one-off cards and whatnot. If you know a card's at 1, you can send it back, or the extra deck and whatnot. But also, Fairy Tail Ball, which we'll get to in a bit, and also another card, does change names. So you can basically ensure this goes off. And none of the effects on this is once per turn, so it works very well. 3 copies of the new monster Match Guru. Match Guru is a fantastic card. It's not, I think, the best starter for the deck. It's certainly not a 1-card starter, at least not in a combo of. I could be wrong on that. If someone could show me a combo where this is a 1-card starter, I'll be very happy. But it's a wonderful extender. A lot of lists cut this down to 1 or 2. I can see that if I start putting a lot more other engine into this deck. However, I do think that at least currently the Fairy Tail stuff is where the strength of this deck lies, and the Magistus stuff is nice support and helps you get into your Fairy Tail stuff more often. So I like this at 3 currently. I think it's good. We'll see how it goes. 3 copies of Genie of the Ring. Now, this is either a very nice card to have and part of like some 2-card combos to get you started, or truly the best card in the deck. It depends how the effect works, and I'm not sure how it works yet. So the effect reads, I'll read it to you out. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, special summon this card. Also, that target becomes a spellcaster monster. That's the bit I'm not sure about. So, to my knowledge, I don't think you can target a monster to summon this that's already a spellcaster. In the same way that you can't target an already negated monster with infinite impermanence, for example. Because it's already a spellcaster, so I don't think you can if you can, and you can just target any monster on the field with this to summon it, this is just, I mean, the only thing about it that makes it specific for this deck is that it spellcaster locks you, but any deck that doesn't mind about that, this becomes an insane extender and an amazing card. It's custom for Fairy Tail in that sense. It might as well be, like, the artwork of it's not like a little animal thing, but like, it's a genie, which that's a fairy tale, you know what I mean? Like this it's an honorable, it's honorable mention for like the, you know, Fairy Tail things. Honorary, that's the one. But yeah, if this card cannot target things that are spellcasters, it's still a very good card and still worth running. I think I'd run it at 2 if Snow comes off the list, but still very worth running. If this can target spellcasters, it's just a 3 of forever, because it's just insane for the list. Also has the effect of when it's banished by the effect of a spellcaster monster, it can return to your hand once per turn. So that also makes it work very well with Snow if we do get Snow back. So this card might change the ratios on, cut it down to 2 if it's not as, like, if I'm wrong, because I think this can't target things that are already spellcasters. If I'm wrong about that, this becomes one of the best cards in the game. It becomes a wonderfully good card. If I'm correct about that, and it can't target things that are spellcasters, it's still very good. It's just not quite as good as it was, you know? Bear with real quick. I need to just quickly change something here. Nah, don't. It's all good. Cool. So yeah, very good card. Either way. Very good card either way. I do need to change something. Sorry guys, one moment. This has drifted. I know why. Whee! There we go. I'm sorry. You probably didn't even notice that. I just had to move the camera over a little bit. There we go. Anyway. I don't edit these, could you tell? Then we have 3 copies of Spenta. Spenter's obviously just a fantastic card in any deck that can run it. The Magistus cards are really cool. Like this card a lot. It's great 1-card combo. I think probably the best 1-card combo the deck has. 3 Zoroa. Not many people run this at more than 1. I personally really like this at 3 because in and of itself, it is also a 1-card combo. And it is a really good 1-card combo that your opponent will have to burn some interaction on if you open this and Spenta. So I think even if you run this at 1, it's still only a 1-card. So if you were to just run this at 1, it's a 1-card combo still, right? Obviously, you don't need to run more than 1 to have it be that. But it's a very weak starter, I'll say, if it's alone. But the point with this deck is that it's not going to be alone, obviously. So if you pair this with Spenta, you summon this. When you normal summon this and you try to use its effect, it's the biggest imperm target in the world because usually it's not a very strong starter. It's a starter, not a very strong one. If you then have Spenta, it's just full combo again because you go, you know, it's Spenta's your extender at that point. So if you open both, Spenta is no longer a starter, it's your extender. Well, provided you don't also top deck Crowley, which is unfortunately what happens sometimes. I do only run it at 1 in this list, because in the Magistus list that I was running, you do need it at 2 because the combos that you have don't work unless you have this to add to your hand and summon, right? However, in this list, it's fine. Like, it can be a brick, it can suck to draw. If you draw this in no other engine, it doesn't work. Or if you draw this in no other way to extend properly, it doesn't work. However, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's fine to run at 1. You don't necessarily need it. You don't need to do that, like, summon from hand. I think it's just nice to have. But yeah, it's nice to have. Yeah, that's it for the monster engine. Onto the non-engine. 3 Ash Blossom. Standard, doesn't need explaining. 3 Ghost Spell. I think that this is the first list I've ever had where I've opted to run 3 Ghost Spell, because I always run 2 historically. I just think 2's fine. I think Ghost Spell is so good going into the next format that I kind of have to run it, because it does kind of just shut down Cool Tune during your own turn, which is nice. You do, like, for example, if you draw this and Genia, it's full combo. Or, well, any non-spellcaster you can normal summon it makes it full combo as well. Yeah, it's great. It works fine. I think it is, and also most of the Cool Tune cards can add from deck or graveyard to hand, so it kind of just hits any of them. So yeah, I think Ghost Spell's very good in the format. It's also very good into Mitsurugi and Sky Striker, which are, I think, 2 other very prominent decks in this next format. Obviously, fantastic in Mitsurugi, great in Sky Striker because Ace Zero can it loses to both this and Ash. So yeah, I think this is very worth using in this current format at 3. We have 2 draw. At absolute worst, it's a spellcaster in hand that you confuse with. At best, it's a turn ender. That's the way I always think about draw. And 3 Fua, because it's Fua. It's Fua last. There you go. On to the spells now. Running 3 copies of Fairy Tale Ball. It is also, again, it's a starter. I don't know if it's like... I'm still learning the decks at the moment. I have found 3 very reliable, very good, full 1-card combos. That is Snow, Spencer, and Zoroa. I've heard some people say this is also a 1-card combo, and I, for the life of me, can't get it to work in my head, and I don't know why. In my mind, I'm trying to make this work as a 1-card combo, and it just doesn't do enough. It gets you like the most meager half board I can think of. But I mean, it does get you something. If nothing else, it gets you Snow. As long as it goes off, not Snow. Well, yes, if that comes back. Luna. So it's like it's something. I just can't. I can't go. Basically, when if you don't know what this card does, when it's activated, you get a Fairy Tale monster from your deck to your hand, and also when you control a Fairy Tale monster and your opponent special summons the monster, you can target a monster your opponent controls, change its name to Fairy Tale Prince, and also negate its effect. So it's very good. It's very, very good. You do need to run 3 because it's at the very least in this build of the deck you run 3 because it is the grind game. You need to be able to get, like, keep searching this and whatnot. I don't like terraforming in this list just because this is so like I'm so torn because it's nice to have the extra, you know, field spell if you need to search it. But like, I don't know that you need it. I don't know. I'll go back and forth on terraforming. I might put terraforming back in as it happens at the moment. I don't feel like you need it because it's so searchable. 1 copy of Tales of the Fairy Tales. The card's nuts. It's so custom. The equipped monster gains 1,000 attack. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can fusion summon what's that? It says once per turn, but it's soft once per turn. If this card comes back, if you have 2, then you can do it again. You can fusion summon 1 spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters in your hand and or field, or Prince of Fairies your opponent controls as material, which you can turn things into Prince of Fairies with this. So there you go. So it's like a built-in Super Poly almost, and yeah, the other effect, is when it's in the graveyard, you can equip it to a Fairy Tale monster you control, and then immediately after that, normal summon 1 Fairy Tale monster from your hand. So if you just have a Luna in hand, you equip this as a normal summon Luna. So you just go from there. Card's insane. Fantastic card to have in the deck. Once Upon a Fairy Tale, also an insanely good card. When this card is sent to the graveyard apart from the field, you can set it, or when it's banished from the effect of a spellcaster monster, you can set it. So yeah, again, works very well with Snow. Also works very well with Teller, which is one of your extra deck monsters now. Yeah, it's great. When you activate it, you can summon a Fairy Tale monster with different names from your hand and graveyard and banishment. It doesn't have to be all 3, but it can be all 3. So yeah, again, another reason you really want to be able to go with your what do you call it? Snow. We want Snow back, because the other Fairy Tale monsters, the 2 that come to mind are Rella and Sleeper. And Rella and Sleeper just don't do it for me. Neither of them are awful, but they're both very situational, and I don't think are really good enough. If you really wanted to run like a pure Fairy Tale list, you could run them both at 1, if you wanted to do that. Maybe in Genesis, maybe it's good. So Rella has the effect of your opponent, I think it's your opponent, it might be both, but your opponent can only target Rella with spell effects and no other, I think, cards on the field, which is not bad, but is, you know, it's not you can out it quite easily. And the other one, Sleeper, has a flip effect, which is, you know what, I don't remember the flip effect, but it basically has the effect, it can also change, you contribute another monster you control to have your opponent's monster effect change to flip 1 monster your opponent controls face down. But the fact that it can't tribute itself makes it not very good. And realistically, if you have enough monsters on the field, your opponent's not going to choose Sleeper. Your opponent's going to choose something else. So you need to tribute one thing, and then your opponent will flip something else face down. So for the effect, I should say, of essentially negating an opponent's effect, you are losing 2 monsters on the field, more or less. And probably 2 interactions at that. So I don't think Sleeper's worth using, I don't think Rella's worth using, but maybe in Genesis, I don't know. 1 instant fusion. The fusion monsters that are archetype specific are level 4. Instant fusion's very good. You can either just set out an Omni-Negate straight away with that, or you can, it does cast as a 1-card combo as well, 1-card starter. I do not know the line with this particularly well, but I do know it does work. On to non-engine, but this arguably, you can think of this on non-engine or not, Super Volley. It is obviously non-engine and works very well in this current format. I don't yet have my Shipmaster of Theseus, but it's in the post, it's coming towards me. But also, seeing as you can turn your opponent's monsters into spellcasters and Prince of the Fairies as you want to fuse with, it just becomes an insane card in this deck. If you manage to turn your opponent's monster into a spellcaster called Prince of the Fairies, which is not difficult, at any point you can Super Volley. Your opponent obviously cannot respond. You can summon Teller of the Fairy Tales, which is one of the new fusion monsters. It then is an Omni-Negate on the field, which also has the effect which, when it is summoned with your opponent's monster as material, which is called Prince of the Fairies, it then destroys all the cards your opponent controls. So it's a complete field wipe and an Omni-Negate that you can't respond to the summon of. Now, that is a very specific scenario. It's not like it never comes up. That does come up. So it's very good. Obviously just a fantastic field breaker. And speaking of 3 Droplet, again, it's just an amazing card at the moment. And 1 Call by the Grave. Clean 40 card deck, 18 non-engine. Which I think is plenty. Some people want to play more. I think 18 is so enough, but that's just me. Onto the extra deck, I'm running 1 Garura. This is the only purely Super Volley target I have in the deck. I'm considering making room for Shipmaster of Theseus in the main deck. At the moment, I want to put it in the side. I'll take something out. But yeah, Garura, very good, obviously. Chorozo, again, this is a Super Volley target. It just needs a Fusion Synchro or Xyz monster, an extra deck monster, and a Spellcaster. Which, all your stuff is Spellcasters. So you can just normal summon a Spellcaster, turn player priority, Super Volley. You get Chorozo out. You might get rid of a big threat on the field. So, very good. But also just a combo piece. Chorozo is just a fantastic card, obviously. 1 Zeroa. This is also a Super Volley target, because if you summon a Magistus monster, and then it's, again, an extra deck monster as well. Super Volley, summon, say you top deck Crowley and Super Volley going second. Normal summon Crowley, turn player priority, as long as the summon's not negated. You go Super Volley, you summon this. You get rid of one of your opponent's monsters with it. Immediately you have an Omni-Negate on the field as well, and then you can probably keep comboing off with other stuff. So yeah, very good. 1 Iwas, once again, technically a Super Volley target. It's not the most common one, but it does come up every now and then. Largely though, you're going to be summoning this yourself, or equipping it to your Synchro Zeroa as a Floodgate. But yeah, very good card. It's Snatch Div, don't know what it does. Currently running 2 copies of Weaver. Might cut this down to 1. To make space for Shipmaster of Theseus. What Weaver does is, once per turn, you can summon a Fairy Tale monster from your deck. Also, whenever you normal special summon a Fairy Tale monster, and this bit's not once per turn, whenever you normal summon a special summon a Fairy Tale monster, you can target one monster your opponent controls and turn it into a Prince of the Fairies named card, and also then its effects are negated. Also, when this is on the field, all Prince of the Fairies become spellcasters. So I like this at 2 because if I am confident enough that I don't need an Omni-Negate on the field at the end of my turn, I would much rather summon this and have a few ways to summon Fairy Tale monsters with it. Because the amount of disruptions you get with this is disgusting. With Snow, I took some time to work this out. If I'm not mistaken, say you have Snow in the deck, and say you have, you top deck Super Volley as well. You could trigger this effect to change name and negate. I believe it is 1, 2, 3, 4 times in one turn. Now, is that going to come up a lot? No, but even if just once or twice, there's still a lot of value getting out of this. Then 2 Teller. Teller's obviously a fantastic card. It's the one that's an Omni-Negate and a board wipe. Really good card. I like it a lot. Also, it means that your Fairy Tale monsters can't be destroyed by battle, which is great. It's a fun thing about Fairy Tale, actually. The fact that they have an 1850 stat line means that if you, most normal summons actually can't get rid of them, which is interesting. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it does mean that you are likely going to be triggering the field spell to special summon something to out it, So most normal summons can't get rid of them, which is kind of interesting. Then we have 1 Zeroa, the Magistus Conflagrant Calamity. Wonderful card. It's not something you generally summon going first, unless you are extremely sure what your opponent is running. And if you are, then fair enough. And you're confident that your opponent can't get rid of it, which is also fair enough. But yeah, fantastic card. Itchy nose, sorry. Very, very good card. It is basically just a floodgate against your opponents. Really, really cool. 1 Varam, it's protection, but also just it's the synchro thing you equip here. It's really good. 1 Ninaru, it says the thing that you equip here. It's very good. 1 Wiccat. I was running 2 Wiccat because I was thinking it's. To be fair, I might go back to 2, depending how bad my luck is playing against Cool Toon. Because if they can extra deck rip this fairly consistently, I might just run it at 2. Because you do only need 1. Because it doesn't really do anything in a grind game. What this does is it will detach 2 and then Foolish Burial 2 Fairy Tale cards from your deck, which is very good. But in a grind game, you've already got all your resources where they need to be, which is on the field or in the graveyard or a banish or whatnot. So it's already out. So you don't need this that much in a grind game. You don't need more than 1 of these. But you do need 1 of these. Because if you don't top deck your Fairy Tale stuff and you only have like your Magistus or your Genius stuff to combo with, and you need to get into your Fairy Tale stuff, this is how you get into it. This is your bridge. So you need 1 specifically. You don't need 2. I might start running... sneeze, sorry. Bless me. I might start running 2 if Cool Toon gets lucky on their extra rips. Not sure yet. We will see. 2 Artemis. I was running this at 1, but I think the optimal way to run this for Spenter to be like the best 1-card combo in the deck is to run it at 2, and 1 Endymion, because this is just a fantastic card. Also has the 1850 stat line, so you can summon Magic Guru off it. I'm going to put this back in the right order, because it will bother me if I don't. There we go. And then we have the side deck. Now, the side deck here, don't judge me too harshly. We'll see. This might be the source. We'll find out. So, running 3 Meows, 3 Purulia. That's fairly standard. You know, Meows, Purulia, sure. 1 Harpies, back row decks, they come up. 1 Rivalry. All your stuff is usually spellcasters. Cool Toon ain't all the same stuff. This is real good against Cool Toon. Now this this next bit might be overkill, but we'll see. 1 Solemn Judgment. You know what? We're gonna put that there. 1 Solemn Judgment, 3 Solemn Strike, and 3 Solemn Warning. This might be overkill for going first. You know what? We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see. So my logic behind this is, again, it's for Cool Toon stuff. I don't generally care about negating Cool Toon's normal summon, because they can get more of those anyway. But these all can negate an inherent special summon. If you negate the Cool Toon synchro summon, they don't get their graveyard effects. Because, technically, they were not used for a synchro summon because that was negated. I'm going to test this for a while and see if it's overkill or if it's actually the secret sauce just to auto-win against Cool Toon. I don't know yet. It might be overkill. To be fair, I would like to find space for 3 copies of Solemn Accusations, because I want to be able to, again, mainly against Cool Toon, but also very good against like Sky Striker and stuff like that. But if you can get rid of their Sky Striker, get rid of all their Engage, against Cool Toon, get rid of all their KT Synchro, obviously against Radio Typhoon, get rid of all their MSTs. It ends up just being a very good card in a lot of ways. I do have 1, I pulled 1, but I need to get 2 more. And if I do pull 2 more, I might get rid of the Solemn Warnings in favour of it. But even again, it's just a lot of Solemns. I don't know yet. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I'm going to do a couple of test hands as well. If I do just top deck a Spenter, I'll just show you what the 1-card combo is for that. So the thing is with the test hands with this, do bear with me while I just kind of talk my way through it when I'm doing it. Because the test hands, how to put it, the deck does very well with 1 and 2 card combos. If you have a handful of engine, you can do a lot of wacky stuff with that. But it's things that I'm still learning how to play with properly. And so I think the best way to sort of consider it is maybe just play safely and go for your safe starters and then your extenders. You know what I mean? In case your opponent decides to use the hand interactions on you. So let's have a quick look at a test hand here. Ooh. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll show you the Luna 1-card combo. Because there's not a lot else you can do with this. You know what? Test hands aside, I'm going to show you guys the Luna 1-card combo. Or at least this is the Luna 1-card combo that I have found and I sort of used. So you summon Luna. Now again, if Genie of the Ring could target this to summon itself, I would go with Genie here and it will be a completely different combo. Again, I'm not sure if it can. I'm going to assume that it can't in this combo and just go with this. So you can get add Magistus, summon, effect to add the field spell, activate, effect to add a, they're at the top, effect to add a Luna. At this point you want to Exi summon into Wiccat, use Wiccat's effect to detach to, and send Tails and Once Upon a Fairy Tale to the graveyard. Once Upon a Fairy Tale, there you go. Once Upon a Fairy Tale effect to activate to set itself. Tails effect to equip it to Wiccat. Use the normal summon on that to summon Luna. Luna can then add. Let me double check the requirements on these. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Luna can then add. At this point, again, if we had Snow, you'd add Snow. As it happens, we don't, so I'm going to go with another copy of Magistus. Tails effect to fuse these off. Depending what you want to go for here, again, if you had Snow, you maybe want to go for Weaver, if you don't need the Omni as well, because Weaver is potentially a lot more interruptions here, because with Weaver, if you summon Weaver, you could summon another Snow from the deck, which is 2 bounces potentially, and then a lot of other stuff you could like negate a lot with Weaver. However, if you are not sure what you're playing against and just want to go for something consistent, go for the Teller, because that's an Omni negate. It's going to be good. So this is like more or less your 1-card combo, assuming that Genio works the way that I think it works. If it doesn't, this changes a lot. But you have your negate and name change. You have Luna to bounce and send things back. Once Upon a Fairy Tale to add these back and summon them. You get a search off of Magistus. Probably go for the Fairy Tale Ball for the follow-up, which is what you can go for at this point, but there you go. Ideally, at this point, you want to be able to use Teller to banish Once Upon a Fairy Tale, but you don't have to, but if you do, you can then reset it, which is nice. Luna to bounce again, Wiccat to target this, summon itself. Doesn't do a lot, just get it in graveyard for next turn because it can summon it again. And there you go. It's just a nice, simple, very mid-rangey sort of 1-card combo. I am going to show you now, because as we can see, the test hands was... the test hand was interesting. I'll show you the Spenter 1-card combo, because this is a lot more explosive. Does an awful lot more for the strategy, and I think it's the real reason you want to run these cards in the deck. So you go Spenter to search for Zeroa. I've been joined by my cat, she's entered the room. Normal summon Zeroa. Use Zeroa's effect to equip itself with Artemis from the extra deck, and then use Zeroa's other effect to summon Spenter. You then link Spenter off into your other Artemis. You then use the equipped Artemis to search for Crowley, which is, there you go. Crowley effect to summon itself, and then Crowley effect to fuse with the Artemis up there into Zeroa. Zeroa is your 5th summon. You are now insulated from Nibiru. I don't think any of your other combos insulate you from Nibiru in 5 summons or under. I think this is the only one. Again, I could be wrong. I'm still practicing with this deck. You then want to go for Zeroa effect to equip yourself with the Artemis. And then you contact fuse these two into Chorozo. You can then do a Spenter effect, which you could do this before the Chorozo, to be fair, probably should. Targeting the Zeroa to equip it with Varam, which means that it's protected from spell and trap disruption, and also it gets a bit of battle protection as well. You then want to overlay these 2 level 4s into Wiccat. Use Wiccat's effect to send, oh, there they are, send a Magistus and a Tails. Magistus to summon itself, and add the field spell. Activate field spell, use that to add snow. Tails effects equipped to the Wicket, and then to normal summon the snow, so the Luna. The Luna effect, again, if you had it here, you'd probably want to summon, I'd want to add the snow, but as we don't, I'm probably going to go with Genia. It doesn't matter that much, but I'll go with Genia here. Trying to think now. I feel like there are a couple of different lines you can do here. Because the basic thing I do here is I go Tails here and then just fuse into what do you call it? Teller, which is on the negate, which is good. If you just Tails here, you fuse these two into Teller, that's great. You've got like an Omni on the field. If you want a more layered, and I'll tell you what, I'll say this: if you draw any of these basically fairy tale cards in hand already, and you have room to also set the Once Upon a Fairy Tale quick play spell, you would then go into Weaver here. As it happens, I won't be doing that because I don't think you need to currently. I think rather what you'd want to do is go with these two into Teller. Because this is, if you were to have the quick play spell set here, I probably would go with Weaver. Because you have another way to summon stuff and whatnot, which means you can get like multiple different ways to activate Weaver's negation effect and name change effect and whatnot. Seeing as you don't have that here, I think Teller's going to be the more consistent thing to go with, because it is just like, at this point Weaver would be 2 points of interaction. You could summon another Luna, which would be another bounce, and you could get a negation off of Weaver, with Wicket by summoning it. So it would be another 2 points of interaction. But it's 2 points of interaction, which is going to be a negate and a bounce, or you go for an Omni. I think generally you want to go for the Omni. If I had the quick play spell, I would go for Weaver, most likely. But this is your one-card combo with Spencer. Insulate from Nibiru, Omni negate, Monster negates, bounce, Monster negate. You can, if you want to protect your Luna, you can also Wicket to, the way Wicket works is actually not dissimilar to Genia in that it has to target the thing to summon itself, but if the thing that it's targeting is removed from the field, that's fine. So you would basically target Luna first to summon it, and then Luna's quick effect to bounce it back to hand. You still get Wicket summoned, which doesn't do a lot at the moment, but it is just something you can do, worth noting. So yeah, that's a couple of one-card combos. I tell you what, I'll show you the Zoroa one. I'll show you the Zoroa one-card combo. This is a long video, sorry guys, goodness me. Because again, I don't think many people consider Zoroa to be a fully one-card combo, but it really is, and it does plenty, to be honest. It does quite a lot. It does not insulate you from Nibiru, for example, but the combo that I've been using with it is not bad. So let me just quickly sort these out because it makes my brain happy when I do. There we go. So let's say we just have Zoroa here. So normal summon Zoroa. Zoroa's effect to equip itself with Artemis. Artemis effect to search for a Spenta. Spenta effect, discard this and search for a Crowley. Crowley effect to summon itself. Do not fuse here. You fuse here, the combo's over. You basically you're not summoning the fusion Zoroa here with the Crowley. It is just here as a free level 4. You then do Spencer, targeting whichever one you want to equip it with. I'll go with the Ram, doesn't really matter that much. You then contact these two into a Chorozo. You then synchro. You exi summon for Wicket. Wicket attaches 2. And sends. I just had them. Are they at the top of the deck still? They probably are. Yeah, there you go. Sends these two. A Magistus and a Tails. Magistus summon itself because there's an 1850 stat line on the field. Adds the field spell. Field spell activate to add Luna. Tails equip to Wicket to summon the Luna. Luna effect to search. I don't think it really matters that much. I'll go with the Magistus, but I don't think it matters that much. You could do Genia most likely. At this point, I think... Yeah, actually, sorry. No, I'm right. You do kind of need to go for Magistus here. So, you then Tails fuse these two into your Omni Negate. You then link these two into Endymion, and Endymion equips itself with Crowley. So the only thing that you're missing from this, well, I say missing, it's actually just kind of a different field. It does much the same sort of thing. So you have your Omni, you have your Bounce, you have your Monster Negate and Name Change, and you actually have an option here. So as soon as you can in the main phase, you can use Endymion to bounce back Crowley, summon Crowley, and then fuse. If you wanted to, you could once again summon Zoroa. It's just that to negate a monster effect, it would have to send itself. Or you could summon Iwas, which is the Snatch Deal. So it does a different thing, but it does do much the same sort of thing. It ends on the same, I think, number of interactions, I'd say. Yeah, I think that's more or less the deck, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a long video, I apologise, but you know, if you're interested in the deck, it might be something that you want to sort of sit through and you know, discuss and whatnot. And again, if you have any thoughts, theories, ideas, any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about that. I've been testing a little bit with the Charmer Link 4. I'm not really getting that one yet. There's probably a me problem. I'm not really understanding necessarily the strength of that one yet. I might at some point, and it might be something I use more with the Endymion stuff. It seems good, don't get me wrong, it seems like a strong card to use. I'm not really seeing the, like, whoa, what an insane thing to use, you know? It just seems kind of like, same for Summon Sorceress. I think you just use Summon Sorceress to get into the Charmer Link 4, but either way. Yeah, that's the deck, guys. Hope you've enjoyed that. Again, this is potentially such a good card, we'll see. Hope that all made sense. Any questions, comments, theories, suggestions, ideas? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Been a pleasure as always. Sorry about the long video, but I'm very excited and enthusiastic about this deck at the moment because the one card combos are quite linear and get you much the same sort of places each time with a couple of options later in the combos. The handful of engine combos I'm still learning and going through. I feel like every time I open a hand with this deck, I'm actually going through different lines because there's so many different things you can do, so many different combos you can play through, and different ways you can end the field on. And that all changes even more so depending on what Genia does, which again I'll find out, and if we get Snowback. So there's a lot of variation, a lot of different things you can do with this deck, and that's why I'm finding it so exciting and so interesting at the moment. So that's the deck. Hope you liked that. Hope you had fun watching. Once again, I'll see you at Nationals. Take care. Much love.